Oh, this is not. Come on. Do you know how to? I just tried this before. I should have the presenter notes down here, but they're gone. Do you know how to?
I don't know Keynote.
Oh, here we go. Freaked me out there for a second. I was like, what?
Oh, and the screen's back there too. That's nice.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we can probably start in like the next, like, I don't know, 5 minutes-ish.
Okay. I'm gonna have to pop this out really quick. Of course, the sound goes down. Oh, I have your slides in here. So yeah. So let me just go with.
I mean, I also have it on my computer, and I have the live demo. I have the live demo too. So I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah, let me show you what I got in here. So like we hit the end of my like thank you here,
okay.
And then it goes right into your slides.
Perfect. Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't think I need to show the live game demo on screen. I have some screenshots, so I can kind of run people through what it is. But okay. Cool. Dude, thanks once again for all the work on this.
Yeah, sure.
So how long have you been here at Twitch?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you like the lead developer advocate there?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, do you manage the entire team?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Cool. Sure, good to go? All right. Whoa. There we go. All right, everyone. Let you come in, sit down. So, welcome to the SF Game Development Community Meetup here at Twitch HQ. Now, a little bit more excitement, please. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so very glad to have everyone here. It's been great working with Jordan to set up this meetup. We have a great evening for you with a lot of great content, conversation, so it's great to have you later. Network, have some pizza, hang out. The only ask, we've been asked to leave the room by 9 p.m., so just keep that in mind, please. So Oh, and also I should mention we are streaming this on Twitch, of course. So if you're not familiar with our channel, it's Twitch Dev. So twitch.tv/TwitchDev. So everyone who is watching, hello. If you could give me some PogChamps, some hype emotes, I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, so this is our agenda for the evening. We are currently in the Welcome and Twitch Overview section. We will then move on to educating developers using video games, and we'll have some game demos and extension demos, including stickers by Meetup, Badminton Warrior, a Stardew Valley extension demo by another advocate, and then we'll have our networking and close out, again, at 9 p.m. Here we go. Okay, my name is John Balava. I lead the developer advocacy team here at Twitch. You can tell it's me because that photo matches this, so, you know, that's me. Our team focuses on helping developers, external developers, build on Twitch. We gather their feedback. We are basically the point of contact to our internal engineering teams. So if you haven't seen any of our streams, you should definitely join us. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Pacific. Again, that is on Twitch Dev. We would love to see you in chat. So let's talk a little bit about Twitch in terms of numbers. So how many of you use Twitch? Okay, great. That's a good number. I'm glad. So we have over 15 million daily active visitors to Twitch. So yeah, it's a lot. And there's over 3 million unique monthly streamers on Twitch. So think of us as a television network with over 3 million channels. It's a lot of content. And that adds up. So last year in 2018, we had 505 billion minutes watched on Twitch. I don't even want to calculate how far back that goes in time. It's a long time. It's hard to imagine. And we always have over 1 million people tuning in at any given time. So a lot of content. There's a lot of people viewing. So what are we saying about this? What we're saying is you as game developers, we think that your games are better with Twitch. And so let's understand how you can leverage Twitch as a developer. So how many of you consider yourself game developers? Okay, wonderful. Twitch is the new way to launch games. We've seen a lot of games in the recent years launch on Twitch because streamers, when streamers play your game on Twitch, they create awareness and excitement about your game. So if you may have heard of Apex Legends, which is an EA game just recently launched. They had done something pretty amazing. They had 2.5 million players in the first 24 hours of their game launch, and 25 million players in the first week of their game launch. It became the most watched game during their launch week with 200 million views. And Twitch was a major part of their launch strategy because they worked closely with streamers to play their game on their launch day. Now, I know a lot of people here probably aren't working for AAA game developers and have these resources. So I'd like to give you another example, Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a great indie game that was created by Motion Twin. And they had a launch. They were on Twitch. But they wanted to add more engagement on Twitch and people who were streaming their game. So they created the second launch with a Twitch integration. And with this Twitch integration through chat and actually manipulating the game, the viewers manipulating the game, they actually doubled their all-time minutes watched in just that first month after that launch. So really cool thing to see. And anyone can be building these Twitch integrations. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today as a game developer. So we're talking about game-matched experiences. And we have many tools for that. It could be a Twitch extension, which we'll get into, a chatbot, if you're familiar with that, or, of course, our APIs. So let's look at a few examples just to give you some ideas. So this may look familiar to some people who've been around at Twitch for a while. This is one of our earliest integrations we've ever seen. It's called Twitch Plays Pokemon, and it was the first attempt at putting the fate of the player in the hands of the viewer. And viewers can control where the character goes and agree on, well, not much, as you can see. So this was actually the inspiration for, I'll just let it play for a little while, yeah. This is the inspiration for Twitch extensions today, actually, adding this interactivity into the channel itself. So let's look at a few examples that we have today. Darwin Project is another great game example here. That is if you're not familiar, it is a battle royale style game, multiple players in the game. This, what we're looking at now, is just the map of the game. This isn't the extension, this is just the map inside the game. And when we have the extension on top of the video player, which is right here on the right-hand side, viewers can actually choose which areas of the gameplay, or the game zones get taken out, and it really changes the way the game is played and affects the broadcaster. Same thing happens, they have other options, they can decide who gets healed. So if there's someone you're like, oh man, he's not doing so good, I kind of want to help him out, you can do that and actually change how the match goes. Another great example is for CSGO. This is an extension created by GenVid, and they're creating next level extensions. They're creating ways to expose real-time game data so the viewer can feel more, you can close that, thank you. They're exposing real-time game data so the viewer feels more a part of the action. Now what you're looking at here looks like a regular HUD or an overlay that you would see in-game for the player. But it's actually not. This is all an extension on twitch.tv that a viewer can turn completely off. This is what's actually being played. And then if you are on Twitch TV, you can turn this on and you can interact live with all the team stats as they get updated in real time. You can move these components around. You can make the map bigger. You can see where people are in real time. They're doing some really awesome interactive and really extending the functionality of the game that isn't there natively. We have a few other type of extensions that aren't necessarily game matched but are great for streaming engagement. One of those examples is Twitch Picks. This is an internal created extension that is for polling. So a streamer can come in, create a poll, do you like cake or pie, for example, and people can be interacting with this extension, and we'll show you how this works in a bit. This is called a panel extension, shows up on the channel page. And this takes the voting outside of chat. So if you've ever seen like people say, what do I play next? And then chat goes crazy with all these options and the conversation gets lost. This actually takes that conversation, puts it in an extension, which makes it, keeps the conversation very clean in chat. Also, in the same kind of vein here, we have sound alerts. This is a really fun one that is also a panel extension, which is below the player. And a streamer can choose all these different sounds and set up a soundboard, basically, that if any viewer clicks on it, will actually play that sound in the stream. That can get a little hectic, but we'll kind of explain why it may not once we talk a little bit about monetization. So let's talk a little bit about extension stats now. And in 2019, we had 1.8 billion interactions this year. Now that stat was actually from March, so I have no idea what it is now. It's a lot more. The point being, a lot of people are interacting with extensions. People are finding these very helpful ways and very fun ways to interact with the streamers that they want to support and interact with online. And today we have over 500 game integrations and extensions launched, and 67% of affiliates or partners, which are higher tiered streamers on Twitch, have at least one extension installed. So we're seeing high levels of adoption of extensions to add that extra interactivity with your viewership. So there are many critical areas that I could talk about for you specifically as game developers that you should consider about how you build on Twitch. I want to talk about two of them, and that is actually what you can do to build, what the tools that we provide for you to build interactions with Twitch, and also how to monetize if you so choose to do that. So let's start with build. As you can imagine, we have an API. The Twitch API basically is the backbone of what you do as a developer. We work hard to deliver a more seamless, resilient, and richer API that developers can rely on. Some of the more recent things we've launched is a subscriptions API, which allows you to get the broadcaster subscriptions and user subscriptions. It's been a very sought-after endpoint for a while, and we launched that in early this year. We also have the moderation API, also a highly sought-after API endpoint, which is currently in beta. And I want to call out that the team is always looking for new ways in which they can allow our developers to interact with and reference or work with our API references. So there's always new work going into our developer portal. So we talked a lot about extensions. Let's actually show what they where they are, what they look like. So extensions are just simply HTML, JavaScript, CSS. It is an HTML canvas that we provide you as a developer to put you center stage on the streamer's channel to create these interactive experiences, right? So here's where an overlay extension would go. It goes on top of the video player, and we saw one of these earlier with the CSGO extension. It completely covers the gameplay. We also have component extensions, which take up only a part of the stream. Sound Alerts does a good job of this. They have their buttons that just show up on one area of the player. And we also have panel extensions. So these show below the video player and you saw some of the engaging interactions with voting, polling, those sorts of things. Sound Alerts also does this version as well, in case you don't want it in the video. These can also be interacted with when someone is not live. So you can always have something there for people to interact with when you're not streaming. And we're also calling out bits and extensions here because you can monetize in extension using bits, and I'll get into that in the next section. So that's extensions, that's where they are. So let's talk about chatbots. Chatbots are a really easy way to interact with chat and have things happen, common actions that you may want to occur. So they can moderate chat, they can answer questions. You may have seen a lot of people put exclamation points in the chat. You're not sure what that's about. What they're doing is they're setting up a bot that looks for these certain patterns and then replies to them. So you can see that in the example on the right, where there's exclamation point dice, which is Matt's account. Thank you, Matt, for making the chat bot. And then the bot will respond immediately with rolling or simulating the rolling of a die. So we have extensions, we have the API, we have chatbots, and the last thing I want to mention in terms of what you can build with to build these interactions with Twitch is drops. Now, drops allows developers to award in-game loot for people watching their favorite content on Twitch. So as a viewer, imagine getting the next awesome item or weapon of a game just by watching a tournament that you want to watch. Now, the way we do this for the developer, we provide you, as the game developer, a report every 60 seconds, which is a list of everyone who's streaming your game and everyone who's watching your game. So with that information, you can infer or come up with some entitlement logic to say, this person has been watching my game for 3 hours. I want to give them an item for my game. Now, that's great because for many reasons. It gets people into watching streams. So people want to watch streams of their favorite streamers to get these items. But it's so much better for a game developer because drops turn out to be a great way to get those viewers to convert to players of your game. Because what are the items worth if they're not playing your game? So those are a few things you can use to build on Twitch. Now, last thing I want to talk about here is monetization. So if you're not familiar with bits, it's a virtual good we have on Twitch, which are typically used to support streamers, enhance gameplay, express excitement in a game. You can say, hey, you did an awesome thing here, cheer, 100 bits, and it's a way of supporting streamers monetarily. We can use bits in extensions. We have a lot of extensions right now that are using bits in a way to monetize. And we have someone here who is doing a demo of the stickers extension that uses bits, so you'll see a good example of that. But let's dive into a few easy ones. This one may look familiar to you. Again, it's Twitch Picks. It's that polling example we saw. But you may not have seen this item or this option down at the bottom that says, I'm making a poll and I enable bits. What this allows you to do is say, hey, people can actually put more weight to their answer by using bits. So it's incentivizing people to use bits to have more weight in the poll. Another great example, one of my favorites, is crowd control. If you're not familiar with crowd control, this is a team of developers that built this extension primarily for speedrunners. if you're not familiar with speedrunning, it is kind of what it sounds like, people that want to play video games really fast. And when they play this version of the game, they've actually modified retro games, which is a lot of fun, where if you use bits in an extension, because this would be actually view on twitch.tv, people can use the bits that they have to drop in items in the game. So if you want to drop in, add some arrows, give the player some bombs, be supportive, that's great. If you want to be not so nice, you can drop some bees in there. And if anyone has ever played A Link to the Past, we all know the bees are the most annoying thing in that game. They keep stinging you. It's annoying. But maybe that's just me. It's a personal thing. The last example I want to touch upon is Pretzel Rocks, their sound suggestion extension. And so this is great use of bits as well, where the viewers are actually the DJ for the stream. So what they're doing is actually suggesting what songs should play next and putting a bit value to that. So the more bits you use, the higher your request goes up in the queue. So there's incentive to use bits and support your streamer through the sound queue, or the song queue. We're also thinking about other ways in which you can monetize. One thing we have in beta right now is subscriptions and extensions. Oh, and I should mention any bits usage in an extension, there's a revenue split between the extension developer, 20%, and the broadcaster, 80%. That's the split. We don't take anything because we already took that on the bits purchase before. So it's all completely shared between the developer and the broadcaster. We're also looking in the same thing we can do here with subscriptions. So if you can incentivize subscriptions on Twitch to happen in extensions, we're also thinking how you can actually do revenue share and monetize through subscriptions. So those are all the things that I wanted to cover today in the Twitch overview. So I want to thank you for that. So if you have any questions about how to build interactions or any sort of interactions with Twitch, any Twitch employee, can you please raise your hand right now? Okay, and just hone in on someone right now. It's him right there in the window. His name is Butters and Travis. They're honing on them and just don't attack them. Just say hi and be nice. But ask any of these people any of your questions. We're friendly people. So thank you again. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jordan, who is our Meetup organizer, for his talk. Thank you.
Awesome. You got to transfer the mic here.
I do.
So all the live streamers can watch us or hear us.
Wait, can you mute that so I don't?
Mute this.
Yep. Okay, and then you can unmute it when you get there.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan Schutz, and I'm going to be talking to you guys on how I'm educating developers using video games and basically improving MuleSoft's developer experience. So a little about me. One thing is, just so everyone knows, I am freakishly tall. I am 6 foot 8 inches tall. So just to throw that out there, because I get a lot of people who ask. Yeah, I'm the tallest muley, and when the CEO's pretty tall, he's about like 6 foot 6, and he stood up to me and he looked at me and he's like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. So that was kind of a cool feeling. So background, I see a lot of familiar faces here, so a lot of people already know my story, but I see a lot of new faces, so I'd love to share. Basically, I used to be an independent video game developer. I started at the age of 16, using Corona and then starting with Unity, and I created a number of really, really popular kids games for the Nook, the Barnes & Noble Kindle, and then the Nintendo Wii U. One of those games was called Meme Run, and it was actually the number 5th best-selling game on the Wii U console, ironically, and it was a game about internet memes, and you essentially it's like an endless runner platformer, and it caused all sorts of hate on the internet. Everyone hated on it, everyone thought it was trash, but you know what? It was such a joy to make because it's caused so much controversy, and part of that controversy was all started from YouTube and Twitch, and all these players would actually live stream the game. One person did a 24-hour live stream on Twitch that raised money for people in Africa so that they would have clean water, ironically. So that was pretty cool that a game about memes had such a good worldly cause, I guess you could say. So basically, I did indie game development for a number of years, And then I, have been in the DevRel space for over 2 years, and recently I joined MuleSoft. And basically what I do is I try to create strategies to help improve developer engagement on cloud-based API products. So that's essentially what I do. And the problem that we're trying to solve is that really like developers, it's challenging. When you're on-ramping them to a product, like how many of you guys here have tried to use a popular API product and you guys are like, oh my gosh, this is so challenging to learn. And so I want to make that, I want to make that experience fun, right? I want people to come to our API docs page and not just see a wall of text, but actually have something to interact with and have a good experience onboarding onto our platform. And so that's what I'm trying to do at MuleSoft, and I really know that developers love video games, right? We all grew up on them. Most coders used to play, Nintendo games. So I want to bring that to our product. So MuleSoft, essentially what we allow you to do is we allow you to connect devices together. So let's say you're trying to connect even like an ancient Commodore 64 to, let's say, your cell phone. We provide that bridge for you to be able to do that, and we have a product called Flow Designer, which basically allows you to connect and data together and host your APIs in the cloud. So this is more of an enterprise cloud product, but we have a huge developer community that uses it, and we want to make this experience more fun for developers. So this is kind of how the product looks like. You basically create your flows, and you're able to basically send data from one end of the point to another end of the point. And like in this case, we're basically changing a database. And so that's essentially how you do the integration. And so the issue with this is a lot of developers don't know where to get started, and there's really a lack of public material online on how to use these products. Really, these tutorials available are really, really technical, and they're use case specific, so when developers are on-ramping on our product, they're having a hard time learning. And they usually only want to solve a specific problem. And my goal in DevRel isn't to train the developer, it's more to educate them so that way they can train themselves. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create these really interesting tutorials on these different use cases. And so I thought of a really cool game idea where we could teach developers how to use a KV store. If you guys are familiar with what a KV store is, it's kind of like an object store where you can store little amounts of data and update it regularly. And so I wanted to educate them on how to use object store on our platform. And so the way I did this is our mascot's a mule because of MuleSoft, right? And so basically, you basically control this mule, and you can jump around and you collect coins in this game, and then it updates the object store at the top right. So it'll change to 74, 75. So it's a very basic HTML5 game, right? But the thing is teaching developers how to use one of our core products. So that's really fun, right? It's a much more fun and interactive way to learn about an API product by being able to play a game than it is to just read documentation. So I kind of want to encourage all you guys may be indie game developers, you may be just developers at a normal, API company like me. But I think what's awesome about video games is that we can basically use video games to educate developers, and you may be able to incorporate games into your job and make it more fun for the people that use your product. So I just kind of want to inspire you guys to, even though you're not in the gaming industry, you might be able to make games. So it's pretty awesome. So this is our game development meetup group. I'm assuming you guys all found this event here, but I just want to encourage you guys to join it. This is something I've been running for over a year. I see so many familiar faces. I started this group because when I was an indie game developer, I didn't have a space to learn how to make games. I'm a self-taught coder. It was very hard for me to get started. So I really want to provide a space where we can all network, where we can come together, and we can learn how to make video games and make them together. So this is why I think people month after month come out to this group. It's really to be inspired and to network with the community. And I'm really just like seeing all you guys in the room, you don't know how much it means to me because it's just amazing. So yeah, thank you guys for coming, and I hope to see you guys in a future month. And with that, what I like to do is I like to open up this time for basically the community to come up and share what they've been working on, because this meetup group isn't for me. It's not for any company. Really, this meetup group is for you guys. And so I like to give you guys an opportunity to show off what you guys are working on. And yeah, so thank you guys. And with that, would Matt like to come up? here's the mic. Let me give you the other mic. Hold on. Oh. And I love our outfit.
Cool. Testing, testing.
You gotta turn on the mute, turn off the mute. There you go.
Mute is off. And laptop has died. All right. Oh, no, we're back. No, pause. I love technology. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and best for Creston. I don't know who Creston is, but cool. All right, anyway, my name is Matt. I'm one half of the team that built this extension called Stickers by Dot. The company's called Dot, the extension's called Stickers, because they are stickers. And what they do is, I can actually just show you what this looks like on a real Twitch stream. I don't know why I'm playing the video. So if I go over here and stream OBS, bear with me. And while that's figuring itself out, we will actually just play this thing. So you can see what they look like. But these stickers are a sort of next version of emotes in that they are a collectible thing that is creator specific that viewers can collect from a specific creator by donating bits. And so this is what the payment flow looks like using Twitch's payment API. And there it is. You just got these rare stickers that you can now drop on stream in real time as a reaction to whatever your favorite streamer is doing. And so it's this really neat feedback loop around getting this artifact of an experience or an artifact of an identity, and then using that to express your support in real time for everyone to see. Here it is. I finally got it loaded. And so for context, I built this in about a week and a half using their developer stuff, and they were interested in that. And so this is what the dev thing looks like. So let's drop a Doge on. Right now, I just integrated with the OBS browser source, and so it's actually going to use the OBS browser source to render that on screen in real time for everyone watching. But what's cool about this is, and how it's relevant to gaming, is that this is a really natural way for people to interact with games in real time. It's not just about like bragging that I had purchased this sticker or donated to this streamer and have this thing. It can also be about affecting gameplay in either a passive or active way. And I think that's where the real potential lies. Specifically because when you charge per action, there's this sort of inherent overhead associated, like we're humans. Whenever you ask us to spend like small amounts of money, we like short circuit. We hate that. This is why micropayments were never a thing, right? And what's cool about stickers is they're basically micropayments. It's just one more level removed, right? I sent money, in this case 1 bit, which is like a cent, to get these 2 stickers. This is running on development. But then when I drop them, there's zero friction. There's zero, you don't remember that there's money involved here. And this is like the secret that all the microtransaction games get you with, is you buy diamonds or whatever and then spend those. It's the same idea, but less predatorial. And oh, hey, people are here. Nice. Yeah, so this is running off localhost, so you won't be able to see anything. But if you want to see a live streamer using the first version of this, Brady Z Lol, when he is live, has this available. Brady Z Lol. I think he's hosting someone right now. Indeed. And so it's showing Thief's extensions. But yeah, and so you can use these stickers to trigger events in-game. And that's like really interesting because now you can architect this experience as a creator. You can architect this experience that you want people to be able to have when they're interacting with you or interacting with your game. You can totally do prediction markets using stickers as voting shares. You can do like activating cheat codes or deactivating effects and weapons and so on. You can trigger enemies. All of that is possible, obviously, because it's just HTML and it's CSS and it's web. Like you can do anything you want. And so that's just really, really interesting. And now that you can give this power to a creator to architect, like, for example, subscribers can get like so many stickers and then they have more chances to affect this game and so on. There's a lot of possibilities there. But anyway, I have 5 minutes, and so that's pretty much it. You can drop stuff on the stream, and then it shows up to everyone. And right now, the core feedback loop is that support a creator, show it off to people, just like how we like doing with fashion and so on. Yeah, that's it. And so that's the extension. It's called Stickers by Dot. If you know some people who stream, hit us up. Thank you.
And I'd like to invite Jian, if I pronounced that right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Cool, awesome.
Nice.
Do you mind putting that on?
Hello, and then on. Hello?
All right, you're gonna use this.
Oh, hello, hello, hello. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's working. Okay, cool. Cool. My name is Xiao Han. Everyone can just call me Han Han. I am going to show you guys this game called Meetup that was originally made for the 7-day roguelike in 2017. So if you guys don't know about roguelikes, they're these like turn-based dungeon crawlers where you have weapons and armor and you fight baddies and you gain levels and all that normal stuff. But I kind of wanted to subvert that genre, so I made a roguelike, quote unquote, that has no levels, no fighting, no HP, and so what do you do? So this ended up kind of being kind of like a building game, actually. So what you are is you are the single cell responsible for all the growth and maintenance of a plant. So this is you right here. Check it out, it's raining. I did that a couple days ago. Yeah. You have your tissue, which is kind of like, your cell right now, and you cannot walk past, the bounds of your space, but you can build. So you have these resources. You have water and sugar, so you can oh crap. Okay, sorry, I'm using a different computer. Save changes. Yeah, so you're a cell, and you can build, different tissues in order to expand your reach, but it takes a while. So you also want to grab the water that's around you, and to do that, you have to build a root tile. So I'm going to build a couple of roots. And once these guys finish growing, they're going to start grabbing the water from around them. And then these roots will, water naturally diffuses from places of high water to places of low water, just like in real life. So that's how you get water into your system. And what's the other thing that plants have is they have leaves. They need some way to turn this water into sugar so that they can sustain themselves. So that's really the other thing that you can build. Build a couple leaves here. So in order for leaves to work, you gotta place water right on them, and they will start working in the daytime when there is sun, and they will turn your water into sugar. And now you have some sugar, and you can then take that to grow your plant even further down to explore whatever's underneath, collect more water, and do plant things. Grab a bunch of resources, build yourself up. I'm going to just show you guys a couple quick things. So this is not like Unity or anything. This is all just hand-coded HTML5, JavaScript, WebGL. And one of the cool benefits about this is that you can pass game parameters to other people by just by in the URL. So I have a friend, and he playtests with me, and so we'll just kind of pass different parameters and see how the game feels, if water is this way or if you can move faster, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to just make you build really quickly. So you'll notice that as you build up, there's shadow in the game. So if you start building to the side here, you probably don't want to build a leaf right here. Yeah.
Cool, but yeah, that's basically my game. If you want to play, you can just go on hellochar.com/Mito. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you so much. And I'd like to invite the last community game demo, Ralph, up to the stage. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to play this at the
Do you
same
need me to hold the microphone for you?
Oh, okay. That might be cool.
That might be
Thanks.
easiest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I didn't know.
No problem.
All right, so I built this game. It took me around 2 years so far. And I like to play badminton and I like Mega Man. So what I did was I put the two things together. And all right, so let me show you a new game. It's showing up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, so the basic thing about this game, as you can see, it's like a 2D side scroller. But all right, I'm gonna skip this part. The thing is, what you'll notice is that I can't hurt the enemies with my racket. So this thing is all based on deflections. And I can hit it up multiple times. I can also hit it up, and I can smash it down at it. And you have like different, like those are the easy enemies to start off. And then of course you got like these moving enemies. Let me see if I can get this guy real quick. Okay. And I can hit it, jump over him, and then hit him back. A lot of people get caught up with that. And then you know, there's a guy who throws an arc. I can just hit him like that. So that's the basic gameplay. This is the first level. And of course, this is a Mega Man type game, so I've actually beat everything. So then when you get past the first two levels, I think a lot of people will recognize this format. And after you beat these eight bosses, you can go, this one will unlock, and then you have the castle level. So, you know, very Mega Man-esque. And the thing about the levels is that each level has like their own little thing. Like you had the ice level, you know, you have like a basketball playing level. I actually wanted to show you this level because I was especially, this is like my favorite level in the entire game. So I just wanted to show you, like you have a big tether ball that you can hit. And oh, and it can hurt you. That's the thing. So you can kill a whole bunch of people with this tether ball. Oops.
What was this made on?
This was made on Unity.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I wasn't really that great of a programmer starting off, so
Okay.
I was just like, okay, I needed something to.
So are you planning on? Is this out? Where can people purchase this or download this?
They can. Oh, I guess I can
Yeah.
hold it out. Yeah. So this is out on Steam as an early access right now. So if you want to try it out, there's a demo. So here's one of the problems is that a lot of people found this game to be extremely difficult. I find it easy, but a lot of people found it very, very difficult. And so people either enjoyed the challenge or they hated it. But the good thing is that there's a demo available. And so if you want to try it, you can always download the free demo, give it a try, you know. And the only thing I ask is be kind to me. It's free. It's free. So don't download the demo and then just like, you know, say a bunch of insulting, nasty things to me because I've already had too much of that. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, go to badmintonwarrior.com if you want to check out the website.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Did you mention the Meetup yet?
Yeah.
Missed out.
Yeah, we already mentioned.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So what do I need to do? Oh, this is for the room.
Hello, everyone. What? Oh. Okay, cool. Thank you. Alrighty. So I'm Matt. I'm a developer advocate at Twitch. So I work on John's team. And I'm going to switch gears a bit and go back to extension development. So if you haven't built one before, I'll like walk you through how I built one for Stardew Valley. And I'll show you the architecture of it as well as some of the code. So you get a little sneak peek as to how you would build one of these. So to start off, I just thought I'd walk you through an architecture diagram of an extension. So at a high level, there's really these three components. So the first part is managed by Twitch. So that's on the left-hand side here. And everything that's managed by Twitch is in purple. So there's services like PubSub. The extension itself is actually hosted on the CDN. And those things are completely up to Twitch to host for you. And then the parts in blue are up to you as the developer. So you would have to like provision those and monitor that as well as watch it for any sort of changes. So the front end of an extension is really comprised of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and that's the part that you actually see in the panel. So John talked about the overlay part, he talked about the panel, and that's just the front end. And then the third part of an extension is the EBS, or what we call the extension backend service. And that's completely up to you. So you could put that on AWS, you could put that on your own server, but that's completely managed by the developer. And not every extension actually needs to have a backend. So if it's something that's pretty simple, if it's just like changing a color, you could do that in JavaScript on the front end. I'd say the majority of the extensions I've seen actually have a backend, so you can do things like business logic or integrate with other APIs. So the extension I built has most of these components built into it. So I built the front end in Vue.js, and then the back end is on AWS. So I'll walk you through that, but I just wanted to provide this architecture so you sort of have a sense of how it works. And there are these two different boxes here. The first part is for the viewer. So if you're a viewer on Twitch, you would actually see the panel, and then if you're the broadcaster or the streamer, you could provide your own view. So there's really like two different experiences here. So I wanted to build an extension that's matched with a game, so it would essentially like alter some sort of state in the game, making it more fun for the streamer. So here, who's familiar with Stardew Valley? Okay, so I just recently started playing it maybe like 6 months ago on my Switch. So it's pretty fun. If you're not familiar, it's essentially like a farming simulation game where you, I think, have inherited your farm from your like grandpa, and you essentially have to like make it a successful business. So it's pretty fun. It's really chill. It's not a stressful game. So I'll play it in a second. So that's going to be the live demo part. But I thought I would just show you first what the extension looks like. So here's the panel. So this just lives right under where the Twitch stream would live. So it's a panel here. And the idea is that one of the mechanisms in the game is the weather. So if it's like sunny, for example, it's really easy to farm and your crops grow. And if it's bad weather, as you would assume, it's just much harder. So I thought it would be fun to allow all the viewers on the stream to vote for a new weather condition. And let's say you all pick snow, then it obviously like makes it harder for me as the player. So Stardew Valley is not an open game, meaning there's no like API that they've provided. So we had to write a game mod. If you're not familiar with game modding, I actually didn't write the mod part because I haven't done that before, but it's in C#, I believe, and it essentially sits in between the extension backend and then the game. So it's just a small layer that basically forces changes, and you'll get to see a part of that. So now I thought I would jump into the demo part. So this will be pretty fun. If everyone could take their phone out or laptop, I'm not sure if you have the Twitch app, but if you could download it, I don't know if you've connected to the Wi-Fi. Yeah, a lot of variables. But if you have the Twitch app, if you could search for my own channel, I'm going to do this demo on my own Twitch channel. So my username is Mauerback right there. And then while you download that, I am going to open Steam and open Stardew Valley. So I'm just using Steam as the game launcher. So I just have to sign in. Would you want to hold the microphone, John, for some comedic?
Sure. I'm interacting with chat as well.
Oh, okay.
So am I just doing this
We need a microphone stand.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is teamwork right here.
Yeah. Okay. Add.
Instafluff says hi.
Hey, Instafluff.
C#.
Let's see, Stardew Valley. Okay, so I'm gonna launch it and we should see a terminal window pop up. So this is the game mod that's running now. So the game mod is called Schmappy, which is like Stardew Valley API. Is that what it stands for?
Sorry, what? I was
Oh,
still
talking,
arranging.
okay,
Schmappy,
I forget.
something like that.
Yeah, anyway, so here's Stardew Valley. Oh, what happened? What did I do?
Ron, just move it to the other side.
Well, it should be mirrored. Yeah, I prefer to mirror. Also, how come they can't hear the sound? Oh, there we go. Okay, 1 second. So hopefully you have plenty of time to download the app. Okay, cool. So now you can see Stardew Valley. So I'm going to load a game. I just called it, I think, Twitch Dev Farm. And more or less, this is the same game out of the box. Here's the mod part. So it's asking me for my Twitch name, for my Twitch channel. Whoa. That was not supposed to happen. OK, so now I'm just pairing it with my Twitch account. So any streamer could install this right now. It's live in the extension store. So if you haven't played the game, every day there's essentially a new weather. So I haven't played the game that long here, so it's pretty, this is like essentially like the beginning of the game. But I can walk around here, and now I'm gonna go to Twitch, and you should all see the extension. And I'll just put this image up so you can see what it looks like. But if you clicked the panel or the puzzle piece, you might see the game icon. Just by a show of hands, were people able to find the panel? So I'm not live. The idea would be that I would be, but you should still be able to see the panel, even though I'm not live. So to find it, you just click the chat tab, and then you should see a puzzle piece or the Stardew icon. Yeah. So normally I'd be live, but it would just be hectic to have OBS up here while I'm doing the demo. OK, so it seems like most people are on the extension. So you could also do this on the desktop. Everyone's in chat. That's cool. So like I said, you would normally see the game up here. But for the sake of this demo, we have the panel here. The other component that I mentioned earlier is for the streamer. So I'm going to pull that up. So to see that, you would go into the extension, or sorry, the streamer dashboard. So here's the dashboard that I would see while I'm streaming. So you can see folks that are following you. You can see your stream health. And then any extension that has opted to provide the broadcaster view would be visible here. So I have two commands. I have start a new vote and then end the vote. So I'm going to start a new vote. And all of you should get a new message via PubSub that the new vote has started. So now you can all vote for a weather condition. Do you see that? There's no feedback on this button, so I'm not sure if I actually. OK, let's try that again. Yes, it says a new vote has started. So I'll give everyone like 30 seconds to vote.
Don't vote for the current.
Yeah, so wait, so the current weather was.
Sunny, I think.
What was it? Yeah, so don't vote for sunny, because then it won't do anything, which isn't as fun. So I'll vote on here. So like, I think it'd be funny if it snowed. Oh, look at everyone in chat. If you want to follow me while you're there, you can. Wow, a lot of people are in chat. Ooh, someone gave me 10 bits. Anyway, so the vote should now be finished. Has everyone voted, more or less? OK, I'll assume so. So now I'm going to end the vote. And we should now see the winner via PubSub. So this is going to send a message to all the front-end instances, so all the instances that you have on your phone. And the winner was Storm. OK, so now in the game, let's go over to the game. I guess I can hold it, since I'm just using one hand. The mod is now telling me to go to bed. So the game mod is polling my backend every 15 seconds to see if a new weather condition exists. So it says go to bed. So that's not normally part of the game. Just like randomly. So now I'm going to walk into the house and then go to sleep, whoops, which is the mechanism to change the weather. So it doesn't just change while you're playing. And then if I say yes, if everything works correctly, it should then be a storm. Let's see. And that's actually not what we wanted. It's a different weather condition. That's really weird. So I did this demo like 4 times and never had an issue. Why don't we try one more time? So this game has an extra weather condition called like wedding, I think, if you're familiar with the game. Otherwise, I haven't done this in about a month, so maybe the weather condition has changed under the hood. But let's just try one more time. I'll do it quickly. So okay, let's start a new vote. Whoops. Did it say it changed? Okay, why don't we all just vote for rain? I'm curious if... Yeah, I did go to bed. Now the heart's not appearing.
Is there like a way to see someone submitting a vote?
You can. It's in DynamoDB. I could log in and try that, I guess, if we need to. But let's try this. OK, so did everyone vote for rain or something? That's not that other one. I think the API just changed, honestly, because I know it changed from like V2 to V3. And I was told by the guy who created the game mod that it should all work, but I guess I should have tested it. OK, so it's saying go to sleep, so I changed the weather condition. And let's see. Oh, wait, what was the new? OK, it's rain is the winner. So everyone voted for that. I'm kind of nervous. OK, it's rain. So yay, that was. I really don't know what happened. Yeah. OK, so now let's go back to the slide. So now it's raining, as you can see. So let me exit out of the game. And yeah, everyone's excited in chat. For once. I don't have any mods in my channel. OK, let's go back to the slide. So I'll walk through the code pretty quickly. So as I said, I built this in Vue.js. Are you guys familiar, just by show of hands, with Vue? So I had never used it before. So I'll just do a quick update to the diagram. So the only thing that has changed is I added the game mod. So that's right down here. And the game mod, again, just sits in between the game and the backend. And it's really simple. It's just polling for get weather, which is an endpoint I created on my backend. And then it's just posting that it did, in fact, change the condition. So there's just 2 simple operations. And the backend is hosted on Lambda in AWS, if you're familiar with that, as well as API Gateway and DynamoDB for the database. So it's pretty simple. It's all serverless. It didn't take too long to build. And then everything else pretty much stays the same. So we're using PubSub, which is a service that allows you as the developer to say, hey, can you ping all of the front-end instances of the extension? So it's a way to synchronize your extensions. You don't have to like pull or do any sort of extra logic there. And then the front end, so the part that you interacted with, all the CSS, all the JavaScript and HTML, is living on the CDN. So it's really fast for all of you to see my extension. And then all of your requests are going to AWS. So the code's really simple for this app. Here's the front end. So this is the panel that you looked at. It's using Vue, although this is just regular HTML. Pretty much, we just have an @click handler. So anytime someone clicks on one of the images, we call process vote. Process vote is really simple. It basically just calls the root API, which is just the Lambda function, which is in front of an API gateway endpoint. So it's just an endpoint. And then we send along 4 things in the payload. So we send the user ID, the channel ID. The vote ID is the actual like vote instance. So anytime I clicked start a new vote, we just incremented that number just so that we were all voting for like the same thing. And then the vote item was the actual weather condition. So pretty straightforward. And then the other part on the front end was PubSub. So there was 2 parts to it. We were either displaying that a new vote has started or that we have found a winner and we're processing that result. So you can see here we're basically switching if we're sending a message to alert that a new vote has started or we found a winner. This is the broadcaster view. So there were 2 views. Basically, the broadcaster is only shown to the streamer. And this was the part where I click start a new vote or end vote. And here we have PubSub, which is allowing us to actually send the message and broadcast. So when I clicked the button that said new vote, I'm calling twitch.send, which calls the pub sub service and says send this message right here to all the extensions that are open. So that's where you see a new vote has started. So that message is just comprised in pub message. And then the backend's pretty straightforward as well. So this was the endpoint that is accepting the vote. So it's called process vote. It takes in the 4 parameters, and then using DynamoDB in like one line, I was able to increment the vote. So I think someone asked like how you can see the votes coming in. They're all being stored in DynamoDB. So we're just updating based on the channel as well as the actual vote item. So we're just incrementing it each time. And then this was the endpoint for the mod. So I said the mod is polling every 15 seconds to see if there's a new weather condition. So in DynamoDB, I have a table that has the channel ID change, which keeps track if there's a change or not, and then the weather condition itself, as well as the vote ID. And then if there is no entry in that database, I just update it. Otherwise, I create it there. And then we return back with the actual response, which would be the channel ID, if there's a change, and then the weather condition. So the game mod is reading in the weather condition. And then if it's true, it's going to force a weather change. So I mentioned that the game mod was the third component to it. It's pretty easy to understand. Essentially, what's happening here is we're calling that endpoint right here. I guess you can't see my mouse, and there's no line numbers, but I think you can see. So get current weather is taking in a Twitch ID. So that was the string I typed in on the game. So if I put in like Twitch dev or any channel, it would only pull for a specific weather given a channel. So that makes sense. So this extension can be used by like 100 channels, and we're keeping that all aligned by the Twitch ID. And then I say if there is a change, so weather.change was the field true or false. So if that was true, it then forces the heads up display to say go to bed. So you saw that on screen because the backend told it that there is a change and we forced it. And then it goes to sleep for 15,000 milliseconds, which I guess 15 seconds. So this part is for to actually set the weather. So after we've called that function and polled, we then have to force it. So what we're saying here, I think this is actually one of the more interesting parts. So we have the weather condition stored in the variable right there, and then the weather for tomorrow is how the game mod stores that new condition. So when the guy goes to sleep, that variable is being used. And then the acknowledged weather is the post that I was talking about to inform the backend that the weather has actually changed. So those were the code snippets. Everything that you saw, if you want to get started and build your own extension, is on GitHub. There's a README there. You can submit issues, pull requests. It's pretty active. There's a bit.ly link for that. Or you could just go to github/twitchdev, and you can see all of our projects. But aside from that, that's pretty much all I wanted to show. And I think we have one more speaker who's going to speak super quickly about the UI kit, right? OK. So I'll welcome Charlene up. Do you want to plug your laptop in?
Yes.
So this is for the room.
Yes. What do I do with this?
Yeah,
Like this?
plug it into anything. Yeah. There you go.
That.
Here, I'll put this.
Hi, my name is Charlene, and I'm a UX designer at Twitch. So very quick survey. Who is doing web, including mobile web? Cool. And who likes to write CSS? Oh, wow. And who likes to maintain CSS? And among of you, I hope from John and Matt, two Matts, their talk, I hope some of you are inspired and excited to build extension for Twitch. But it's web-based, so that means you have to deal with CSS. And so today I'm just going to talk to you about an experiment I've been working on, and just to show you how to build UI without CSS. Correction, not without CSS, but without writing any CSS. So any of you are familiar with the idea of functional CSS? Raise your hand, please. Functional CSS. Cool, one. If functional CSS is very interesting. Me personally, I'm a designer, although I'm not a developer. I like to design in browser. And functional CSS is a way to write CSS that's very, very reusable. And you don't write class names that's semantic. You write class names like flex, flexbox, justify center. So all these CSS properties, actually, you make them as a class. So when you are composing your HTML, you don't write button, then you go to design it. You actually write, for example, flex, center, justify center. H1, for example, you want really big font. And these kind of class name, utility class names to compose the UI. So let me give you an example. So there's many functional CSS framework, even open sourced. Some are expensive, some are free, open sourced. And one I've been using is called base CSS. So base CSS look like this. So H1, there's the font size, H1, 2, 3, 4, and you have bold, you have medium font sizes, and then you have tons of block, inline block. So example. Like, you look at this, you might be like, why do I need to do that? And once you have done this to lay out your HTML, you'll find that it's so beautiful. You actually don't have to write any CSS. So a lot of these, big chunk of it is paddings, margins, and one means margin on 0.5 rem. And in this style sheet, I set it as rem. 1 rem is 10 pixels. So I'm going to show you a responsive, bulletproof responsive view written with this base CSS. So I did not write any CSS. I just took this 13 KB file, the free file, base CSS, and I could write this. So these two are the same files, but I'm showing you they are in different dimensions, so you can understand that they are responsive. Okay, everything is HTML. And what does it look like? If you look at the code, it looks like this. Some of you might laugh, okay? Look at how many class names are here, right? But I'm telling you, it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. If you have to deal with designers and PM coming to you after V1, they say, let's add this. Let's change that, and let's tweak this, tweak that, and let's deploy this for the mobile while you've been building it for the web. You'll know how precious it is when you can reuse the classes. Okay, this is beautiful. Trust me, try it. And there's a really good talk on YouTube, and if you just Google functional CSS, you'll see like a lot more explanation for this. And so that's really vanilla, right? Vanilla. But let me just say it again. It's bulletproof. It's responsive. When you localize it, have different lengths of text streams. You throw it in, it will not break. Okay, and so you must have seen some like a cartoon, like making fun of maintaining CSS. You change a little bit, and everything else collapsed, right? You all know that story. And by building your UI first in a responsive way, in a functional way, you don't have to worry about that. Now, what do you do after that? After that, let's say your friend or Twitch, right? We give you some code that help you to style them. Again, we write them in the functional way. We don't tell you, we don't give you opinions of the design, but we give you things like the color token, color variables. We set them up in the variable ways, and we give you different class names for light mode and dark mode. If you have developed extension for Twitch, you know that we support both modes. And as developer, to build for dual modes, it's a lot of pain. It's a lot of pain, okay? And maintenance, not to mention the maintenance. So with some code, not much, you can actually set up basically add the styling to it. And if you look at the CSS, let me just show you in the colorful way. So here you can see I'm still writing it in a functional way, in the utility classes way. So you have icon button, and you have borders, you have opacities, you have cursor pointers. Like it looks like you're repeating what the CSS is, but that should, actually this means that you can have all the class names very understandable in your HTML, for example, in this case. Okay, so actually you can just look at the class names and you know what the parents, how the parents is formatted. You don't have to dive into the CSS, come out, look at the parent, and go to the parent CSS to see how it is formatted. Again, this is very maintainable. And so we all know that on the Twitch, every streamers, every creators, they have their own branding. They like to have their images. They like to have their color. And we should support that. When you build extensions, ideally, hopefully, you can build something that help them to inject their own colors. For example, the first one is Dr. Lupo, and the middle one is Ninja. The third one is the Professor Brown, and these three streamers, their color schemes. So from here, this look, all I did was changing the color variables, plus adding a Google font, which is free. You know, you can just use it. You don't even need to host it. And immediately, you can create a very different look, right? It's very little, again, all this is functional CSS. And now, if you want to start to build extension for a specific game, obviously you want it to be very game themed. You want it very, different font, special font, and different color themes. Again, use the same ideas. You change the color variables, and now you can start to add a little bit more. At this point, now you can add like semantic CSS. So you can customize your code at this stage. So if you look at the CSS I have here, if I can find my mouse. So you can see all these color variables. I actually didn't use that many. I have so many here because Twitch site has this many. So I started with this full set of color variables. But for this, for the Fortnite theme, I actually did not use that many colors. I had 3 colors only. And so you can see that from here to here, that was all the, oops, sorry.
Can we get an update on where can we actually download this if we want? Where would we acquire this library?
I'm going to share it on the Meetup page, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just very quickly. So I just want to show you this is from here, only 5 classes. Just with that, I managed to create, again, responsive, non-breaking, bulletproof, responsive layout, while it's very Fortnite themed. So this is just a way, as a designer, I've been feeling like, how can I help my developers? How can I hand over my design to my developers without, really sitting together with them for 3 weeks trying to debug all the responsive view, and while what we built and can actually be replaced, even shared with the community. So this just is something I'm experimenting with. If anybody is passionate, interested about this, please let's talk after this. Okay,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, guys, it's that time. It's 8:20. We still have another around 30 minutes in this room, so feel free to use this time to network with the other game developers. If you guys want a business card, I have some up here. But yeah, once again, if everyone could just put on a round of applause for Twitch, because they provided us this space. They're awesome. Thanks to everyone that also took their time to make this happen. Really appreciate it. We're going to put up a quick survey if you guys want to fill this out anonymously on how you like the meetup. That's awesome. Also, you can rate this meetup on meetup.com. We appreciate the feedback. So on that note, yeah, so thank you guys once again for coming. Appreciate it.
One other thing I want to add, if you're interested in connecting with us, please join our Discord. You can go to link.twitch.tv/devchat. We have a very active community there. Please join us. Follow us on Twitter or Twitch, of course, and I'll put up that feedback survey. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks. Without the bits, no one's going to fill it out.
Yeah.
That was really good.